Hey guys, and welcome to the 7th episode of my Did You Know segment. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about leather seats versus cloth seats. So right now I'm sitting in the 2017 Hyundai Elantra, and this Elantra does have cloth seats inside, so I'm going to be comparing these cloth seats to the Chrysler 300. I have a Chrysler 300 here, a 2012 Chrysler 300, and that vehicle does have leather seats. So we're going to be comparing both cloth seats versus leather seats in this Did You Know segment. Alright, so let's first talk about the pros of cloth seats. So the pros of cloth seats is that they are more affordable. So when you are looking at vehicles with cloth seats, most likely they're going to be less expensive than the vehicles with leather seats. Now, another pro of cloth seats is that they are overall more comfortable. So with cloth seats, you don't get any sticking, like the cloth doesn't stick to your body. You don't get any sliding, since the friction between your clothes and the seat will hold you in place. And you don't get any burning either, since these seats are pretty much perforated. So that brings us to our next point, and that's because cloth seats are more breathable and they are perforated. So what that pretty much means is that they are going to remain at a stable temperature, so you aren't going to end up burning yourself. And also, cloth seats virtually need no maintenance whatsoever. So, I mean, eventually you will have to vacuum them to keep them looking tidy, and you could probably steam them every once in a while. But overall, you don't need as much maintenance with cloth seats compared to leather seats. Alright, so now let's talk about the cons of cloth seats. So, one of the cons of cloth seats is that they stain and absorb spills a lot easier than your leather seats. So let's say, for example, you have juice of some sort and you spill it right onto your cloth seats. Your cloth will eventually absorb it, and then it will dry up in there, and it will leave behind a stain in the color of the juice. Now, another con of having cloth seats is that the new car smell tends to wear off a lot easier as well. This vehicle, this 2017 Hyundai Elantra SE, does have slightly under 400 miles, and the new car smell is pretty much gone. I mean, you can smell it very faintly, but overall the new car smell is pretty much gone. Now, if you had leather seats in a car, the new car smell will last a lot longer. Now, another con of having these cloth seats is that they don't really look as luxurious as, for example, your leather seats. Now, obviously, some manufacturers do better than others with making their cloth seats look fairly nice, and the Elantra seats here do have a pretty interesting hexagonal pattern going on here that pretty much mimics the entire design that Hyundai's trying to go for with their very geometric designs that they're going for. But overall, cloth seats in general don't look as luxurious as your leather seats. Now, cloth seats also tend to be scratchy, if you understand what I mean. So, like, for example, if you have a cheaper, like, cloth insert on your seats, they can feel a little scratchy. Like, these seats here, they don't feel that scratchy at all. I feel like Hyundai did fairly well equipping their vehicles with fairly high quality cloth in their vehicles. This cloth feels very durable, while other vehicles can have overly scratchy material in here that just doesn't feel comfortable to the skin, and other vehicles can have cloth that's just overly soft and it can tear very easily as well. That could also be another con. And then another con of cloth seats can also be their lower resale value. So like I said earlier, cloth seats are a lot less expensive typically than your leather seat variants. So if you do option for cloth seats, you can expect your vehicle to have a lower resale value due to your choice of seats. Alright, so now let's talk about the pros of choosing leather seats over cloth seats. So, leather seats overall tend to look a lot more luxurious as opposed to your cloth seats. And that's usually the case most of the time. I mean, I'm not saying that cloth seats don't look as luxurious as leather seats, but most of the time, leather seats look a lot more luxurious and, if you will, high quality than your typical cloth seats. Now, another pro of choosing leather seats over cloth seats is that they're easier to clean from spills. So for example, let's say you spill something on your leather seats, you can easily grab a napkin and wipe it right on up. Now, another pro of having leather seats is that they are just a lot more soft and supple as opposed to your cloth seats, which tend to be a lot more on, I guess you could say, more of the scratchy side, I guess you can say. So sitting inside of the leather seats just feels a lot more supple, and just it feels like you went that extra mile and paid just a little more to get a little bit more comfort. Now, another pro of choosing leather seats as opposed to cloth seats is that they tend to carry that new car smell a lot longer. Like I said earlier with the 2017 Hyundai Elantra, you start really losing that new car smell after just about 400 miles. So in this car with the leather seats, you could probably have that new car smell for a lot longer than 400 miles, and just overall, this vehicle is probably going to smell and feel newer longer, if you ask me. Now, another pro of having leather seats is that they're going to have a higher resale value. So, like I said earlier, cloth seats are cheaper or less expensive than leather seats. So, if you do pick your leather seats over your cloth seats, the vehicle is going to tend to have a higher resale value due to you paying that extra money, and in the long run it's also going to be worth ever so slightly more than your cloth seats. Now let's talk about the cons of choosing leather seats over cloth seats. Now, if you are to choose leather seats instead of cloth seats, you do have to recognize that you are going to most likely be paying more for your leather seats as opposed to your cloth seats. Another thing you're probably going to notice is that most of them aren't perforated. So as in perforated, I mean that they usually, when seats are perforated, they have like those little dots in the seat. So on a hot day, for example, you are going to sweat a lot more while you're sitting inside of the leather seats. Also, you're probably going to stick a lot more as well, especially if you're wearing shorts or something. Your thighs will stick to the leather seats as you sweat due to them not being perforated. And another problem that could occur is you're going to slide around in the leather seats a lot more as opposed to your cloth seats, since your clothes and the cloth will cause friction and hold you in place, while if you have the leather seats, your clothes and the leather aren't going to have as much friction with each other, so you are going to slide around a lot more while you are driving. So another con of picking leather seats over your cloth seats can be they are harder to maintain, and one of the main reasons for that is because you need special wipes to clean leather, because if you just clean leather with water and a napkin, you are going to stretch or expand those leather fibers, and as a result you will get stretch marks, if you will, on your leather seats. And this Chrysler 300 actually has those types of stretch marks, and where the leather is starting to pull a little bit, and that's not only because of the maintenance, but that's also due to everyday use. From getting in and out of the vehicle, the leather will begin to stretch and stretch. So over time, leather isn't really going to hold up as well as cloth seats. Well, that's it for this Did You Know episode. Comment and tell me what you would like to see in future videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. This is Marcus, and thanks for watching Drive and Be Driven. Keep it positive, and I'll see you next time. You can become a Drive and Be Driven driver today. Just simply click the subscribe button and you will become a part of the Drive and Be Driven circle. Subscribing will allow you to stay up to date with the Drive and Be Driven YouTube channel. Thank you to all of my current Drive and Be Driven drivers for driving me towards my goals and dreams. Stay subscribed for more awesome videos like this one.